guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today it is Friday and we are going to be testing out a new foundation here on my channel. This foundation has probably been out for about a month or so now. This is the Balm Cosmetics Even Steven Whipped Foundation. And this is it right here in this a tiny little baby packaging. This is the foundation that we are going to be testing out today. Of course, I do have it on my face as of right now. I will say that when I got this in the mail, I was absolutely shocked at how small it is. It is tiny, but I will say a little bit does go a very long way, so don't let the size fool you. This is something that would last a really, really long time. So if you are new to my channel, I just want to tell you really quickly what Foundation Friday is about. It is where I test out a new foundation every single week. It started as me being on the hunt for my all-time favorite foundation that works for my skin type, but of course over time my skin type has changed a little bit and my concerns have changed a little bit. So when I originally started Foundation Friday, I was trying to cover up acne. I was combating severely dry skin. So now I still have breakouts, but it's not as bad as it used to be, so I can get away with not going after the fullest coverage foundations ever, where that's what I used to do. Now my skin does produce a little bit more oil, especially in the nose area, so I definitely want something, but I still overall do have pretty dry skin. Very red skin, a lot of like hyperpigmentation, and very red skin. So it does take a lot to kind of, you know, get my skin to look its absolute best. So I am very picky on foundations because I have a lot to deal with and a lot to go through. I have what you would consider a problematic skin. So if you have a normal skin, probably any foundation that I test out would work for you. If you have severely oily skin, this might not be the right place for you, because overall, even though I do produce oil, overall my skin is pretty dry. So that's kind of where Foundation Friday did come from, and it did start. I have tested out a bunch of foundations here on my channel, so if you want to check out any Foundation Fridays or any of my previous Foundation Fridays, that will be listed down below. Feel free to go through and check them out. Also, if you have any recommendations for foundations in the future, let me know down below and I can get back to you on that as well. I have had some requests for powder foundations, but I'm a little nervous about powder foundations because my skin is a little bit on the drier side. But anyways, let me bring it back in. I just wanted to kind of let you know, if you were new to my channel, that's what we're doing here today. And yeah, so if you're interested in seeing how this foundation is going to wear throughout the day, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe before you head out if you are not new to my channel. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and see how this foundation is going to hold up throughout the day. Guys, today we're going to be testing out the Balm Cosmetics Even Steven Whipped Foundation. It does come in 8 different shades that range from lighter than light being the lightest and After Dark being the deepest. Now when I got this, I kind of was like, is this a concealer? But no, this is the actual foundation itself. It does come with 0.045 ounces of product. It is a little bit larger than, say, a potted concealer, but it is definitely pretty small. So this is what the packaging itself looks like. And I did purchase mine directly from the Balm Cosmetics, and I do believe you can purchase the balm from Kohl's. So let's go ahead and quickly talk about what this foundation claims to do. Okay, so it says it is a whipped foundation. It says with a light, airy, souffle-like texture, you've got a foundation that's truly whipped. Perfect complexion is par for the course with this ultra pigmented formula. Just remember, a little goes a long way with Even Steven. Available in 8 long-lasting shades with a natural matte finish, Even Stevens will have you teed up and ready to go in no time. That is pretty much all that it says. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is probably a medium to a full coverage foundation. And I did pick mine up in the shade light medium. As always, we're going to do half of my face with a brush and the other half with the Beauty Blender. And the primers that we're going to be using today are the Too Faced Hangover RX and the Tarte Clean Slate Smoothing Primer. These have been my primers of choice recently, and I also have been adding a little bit of the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Serum just to kind of give me a little bit of extra hydration. I have really been liking these, and it is definitely a very moussey consistency. It blends easily, you guys, but it is thick. Like, this is like a concealer. It's getting rid of redness pretty easily. It doesn't require any effort to really blend. Like, it's blending super easily on its own. It looks darker in the pan than what it actually is. That actually is a pretty good color match, actually. Let's see if it covers the redness. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? Not bad at all. It doesn't feel tacky on the skin either. That looks pretty good. I'm kind of not bad at all. So today I'm going to be using my Morphe sponge and not a beauty blender. I got that when I ordered my Jaclyn Hill palette. So we're going to take a little bit of product on this side of the face. I'm going to take the butt of the sponge and we're just going to work this in. I actually think I might like this one a little bit better with the beauty blender than with the brush. So that's the brush, that's the beauty blender, or that's the side that I did with the sponge. So let's go ahead and see if we can build this up a little bit in the areas where I do still have a little bit more redness. So we're going to take not very much at all. This is a very pigmented product. And even though you don't get a lot of product with it, I do think it would last a pretty decent amount of time. So let's go ahead and alright, let's do the beauty blender side. And as always, I definitely have more breakouts on this side of the face. So let's see. Oops, 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 oops. My bad. I think that looks pretty nice on the skin. Definitely a high medium to full. I think I like the beauty blender application. The only thing I will say is, I don't know if you guys can see it, it is clinging to a little bit of my dryness around the nose. Not terribly, but it is happening. Not bad at all, you guys. It does not feel tacky. So this is another foundation that you would not have to set into place with the powder if you didn't want to, especially if you have more dry skin. Definitely has like a soft matte feel to it. It's not overly matte to where it feels like super drying. I can feel it on the skin though. I will say that I do feel it on the skin. So we'll see how it dries down. Go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup off camera. And then I will be back to let you know my initial thoughts once everything else has been applied. It is 10:35. I will be back in just a little bit. Alright, and I am back. It is currently about 11:15. I like it, you guys. I don't like it as much as last week's foundation. I loved last week's foundation. I do think that this one is nice. I am noticing that it is starting to settle up pretty quickly into the fine lines, but I do think it looks pretty nice on the skin. I did not go in with any spot concealers or anything like that. I think it did I didn't go in with any color correctors around my face, so I think it did a pretty good job of covering everything up, evening out the skin tone. I definitely think it is a pretty solid high medium to full coverage foundation. It is accentuating my pores just the teeniest amount. It looks pretty decent on the skin. It is not like my absolute favorite as of right now. I mean, I was blown away with last week's foundation, you guys. So this one definitely had a larger bar to stand up to. Go ahead and come a little bit closer to the camera so that way we can see how everything is wearing on the skin as of right now. All right, so here we are. So one thing I will say is I do feel it on the skin. You spray a little bit of something to kind of help me out here. Ooh, settling is not so bad around the nose anymore. I think it kind of settled in and it doesn't look cakey around the nose anymore the way it did. Like I said, my pores do look a little bit more exaggerated. I do think that it did a pretty decent job canceling everything out without me going in with any types of concealers or anything like that. I think it looks decent. It's not my absolute favorite. I don't think it looks bad. I did go in with powder all over the face with this particular foundation. I don't think it was necessary, but because I did notice a little bit of settling, I wanted to kind of use a little bit of powder to try to lock things into place. Everything blended nicely over the foundation, no issues. It hasn't been long enough for me to tell if there has been any oxidation, but I am not noticing any as of right now. I do think that, you know, my skin looks pretty healthy. It does look like a matte foundation, so I'll be interested to see how it will wear on my more dry skin throughout the day. So far, no serious complaints as of right now, so I will check back in a little bit. Bye. All right, guys, and I am back. It's close to 5 o'clock at this point, so we're reaching the dreaded 6-7 hour mark when things typically go bad. As of right now, I don't have anything bad to say about the foundation. I don't think it's changed a whole lot since I first put it on. I don't think that it doesn't appear to be getting oily. It doesn't appear to be drying my skin out anymore. It doesn't appear, it looks pretty decent. It kind of looks like the way I applied it. My pores are a little bit exaggerated, I will say that, but the fine lines, my smile lines haven't gotten any worse. Nothing is rubbing off on the forehead. It still looks pretty much the same as when I first applied it this morning, so not a whole lot to report here. I just like to check in natural light so you guys can see a little bit better how things are looking, because of course studio lighting can typically make things look a little bit better than what it actually is. So far, I'm not mad at it. So far, I don't hate it. Zoomed in a little bit closer so you guys can see just a little bit closer up what we have going on. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. And I am back. It is currently 8:17, so I've had this foundation on for approximately roughly like 9 hours, I want to say. And I'm tired, I'm hungry, so I was gonna try to wear this for a little while longer, but I think 9 hours of wear is a pretty solid amount of time to test out a foundation. My thoughts are, it's not bad. I feel like everything stayed in place pretty good. I think it has worn off a little bit in like the lower half of my face area. The forehead looks pretty decent. The smile lines didn't get any worse, so I'll take what I can get on that one. It has rubbed off a little bit funny on my nose. It is starting to get a little shiny in certain areas, but nothing like over the top. Might be a little bit darker from when I first applied it. But let me back up, because at first I said my forehead looked okay, but no, I'm noticing where a piece of foundation is kind of missing in that area. The only severe complaint I do have about this foundation is that I do think that it did accentuate pores. It's not the worst foundation that I've ever tried, but I don't love it. I do think that it wore decently well. I don't think it held up as well as this one. I'm not as blown away by this foundation as I possibly maybe could have been. So the pros on this are, even though it's super tiny and I'll probably lose it, it will last forever. You need minimal product. I think that this is a foundation that would be good for somebody with more normal skin, have a little bit of a drier skin, and it did hold up okay. Somebody with even oily skin could probably wear this, of course, with the mattifying primer. Dry skin, always go in with your hydrating primers to kind of help. It's not a matte that got super heavy, that got super thick throughout the day. I mentioned earlier on, it felt like I could feel like I was wearing it when I first applied it, and I don't really feel that way anymore. It doesn't really feel heavy on the skin anymore. It does, I guess when I like look super close up, I can actually see where it's like breaking apart. It is breaking apart a little bit right in here in between my eyebrows. I don't know if this is one that, like, this is one that I would tell every single person go buy it like right now today. Like, what are you doing? Why have you not purchased this yet? This is one where I'm kind of like, let me try it a couple more days. Let me really get my thoughts together. The only thing that I can say right now is I don't hate it. I'm kind of 50-50 on it right now. I feel like I could like it if I could figure out powders, primers, and things like that. But then I also feel like, is it really going to be worth the trouble? You know what I mean? So let me go ahead and get in a little bit closer so you guys can see how it's wearing. You know what I want, y'all? I want to find a foundation that's going to make me look like a Facetune filter. That I've decided that's what I want, to look pore-free, acne-free, fine line free. Like, I just want to look flawless. That is my hunt. All right, so I'm kind of on the fence with this one. So I feel like it could go either way. I'm kind of like right now, so I don't love it, I don't hate it, like I mentioned. But look on the description box and I will give you some more final thoughts there. It's very rare. I usually either really like foundations or really hate them. I'm usually not like super in the middle of the road when it comes to them. But this one I genuinely don't have like a full-on opinion about, and I don't want to just make something up for the sake of the video. I kind of feel like I'm not gonna like it when it's all said and done though. But so yeah, that is pretty much it today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!